This is a story about the time that police had to literally get a guy who overdosed off my front porch and arrest him because he tried to break into my house. So anyway, I was a hoe in my early 20s, okay? I had an apartment that I paid for by my fucking self. I literally lived alone. I mean, I had a career, whatever. Like, bitch, what the fuck? I was making money and lived by myself. Of course I was gonna be a hoe. What the fuck else am I supposed to do? So anyway, after work, I would always go to this one bar that I was very popular at, and I attended almost probably 4 days out of the week. I had a problem. And I damn near closed down this bar a lot of the times, okay? Anyway, there was just one night where one of the cooks had like come out and he was smoking a cigarette because he was finishing off his shift. Like I said, I was closing down the bar. So once he came out to smoke a cigarette, I was sitting there drinking my last beer. He was kind of cute, kind of nerdy. I started talking to him. I was a host. I was like, I need someone for the night. I'm gonna take this one home. Now, nothing happened that first night. I just genuinely enjoyed companionship, bitch. I was lonely as fuck in my early 20s. I had a lot to deal with. So anyway, he comes over. I fucking smoke with him. You know, we keep drinking, whatever. And then like, I think like the next night we had hung out a couple days after that. He came back to my apartment. I think that's when we had like hooked up. No big deal. But he had come to my place. And then like, I think a couple days after that, he had come back to my place. So like for 4 dates in a row, he had just come to my place and we would smoke, we would drink, we would eat some pizza. He would bring me food home from the bar and we would just do what the fuck we did. And then that was it. And then after like a week and a half to 2 weeks of that, one night he invited me over to his house. So I went over to his house and oh my fucking God, you dirty little bitch. He lived like a fucking little nasty hoarder. Okay. And I do not try to judge people, but like it was the type of apartment you walk into and you just kind of go, oh wow. Oh, wow. Like, mind you, I was a little druggy at this time, bitch. I wasn't living the best. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be in this. So at that rate, I had just decided, oh, you know what? He's probably a dirty dude. I already really barely fuck with dudes. I don't like dudes like that. Like, not worth dealing with a dirty one. So I had decided in my mind I was just going to cut it the fuck off. It wasn't going anywhere. I was done hooking up with him. We were over. So I started ghosting him, okay? And he started getting fucking irritated by that. I stopped going to that bar I attended where he worked at for, a week or two, to ghost him. And then, bitch, one day he shows up at the restaurant I'm working at. Mind you, I worked at a restaurant that closed at midnight every single day, okay? And I want to say he came in around like 9 to sit down and grab a table, and he asked for me specifically to serve him. So when I go to walk out to like grab his order, I'm like, oh my God, I walk back in and I tell my manager, I'm not taking that fucking table. I was like, no, that's some dude I fucked with. Like, no, he's being weird. I've been trying to ghost him. I'm not fucking gonna be his server. So luckily I had some cool ass managers at that time and they straight up told him, you're gonna have to go. You can't sit here. She doesn't want to serve you and you can't stay here to like watch her, intimidate her, or just fucking, I don't know, wait around for her. So you gotta go. And he fucking left. He threw a little tiny fit and then he left. Mind you, I'd got off, I want to say, like I said, he got to the restaurant around 9. I want to say I ended up getting off around 11, okay? And I had just known, something told me not to go home that night. Like that guy was being weird. He had kept texting me and I was just like, I'm not going to go home. So I ended up going to one of my coworkers' house. We ended up drinking, smoking, and just had ourselves a little time. And then I want to say I ended up wanting to go home around 2 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, I lived in an apartment. You had to walk up about 3 flights of stairs until you got to my top floor. And as soon as I had walked up and as soon as I had walked around the 3rd floor, I just look up and I see like a body in front of my door. I immediately ran back down the stairs and immediately called the cops. The cops ended up letting me know that, yes, there was a guy passed out, overdosed in front of my apartment. Not only did he have a very large amount of drugs on him, he had a knife and my door had multiple foot marks on it from him trying to break into my apartment. He ended up getting arrested. He ended up doing time. I ended up getting a restraining order on him. Yes, he reached out to me when he got out of jail and tried to apologize, explain that he was on drugs, yada, yada. Never talked to him again. That was fucking over. I never saw anything from him again. But luckily, my instincts told me not to go home that fucking night because, yes, that crazy ass dude was trying to break into my apartment. Anyway, yeah, another story time with Lacey. Make sure you follow along for another random one.